Welcome to the Michael Eric Dyson Show. Later in the program, we'll get career search tips for those new year, new job seekers. And we talk with a financial advisor who wants women to start behaving wealthy. And we pay tribute to singer Etta James, who passed away last week at the age of 73. All of this later in the show, but first. Saturday was the first in the South primary for the Republican presidential hopefuls, with former House Speaker Newt Gingrich playing spoiler, coming out on top with 40.4%. Mitt Romney finished second with 27.8%, and Rick Santorum received 17%. The race is down to the final four, with the crucial state of Florida being the next primary. Here to discuss the latest in the Republican primaries is Glenn McCall, national committeeman for the South Carolina GOP. Mr. McCall is also one of two blacks on the Republican National Committee. We also have Bob Parks, creator of blackandright.com, who spent several years involved with the Massachusetts Republican Party. So we got North and South covered up here, Black and Republican. That's a heck of a territory that we're covering today. So I want to say to Mr. Parks and Mr. McCall, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dyson.
Yes, sir. So, Brother McCall, you're there in South Carolina. From what you saw on the ground, we saw the polling rise spike in the last couple of days that suggested that Newt Gingrich not only had covered territory, closed the gap, but was going to perhaps win. It was predicted. But did you think he'd win this big? And does it foreshadow anything else coming in Newt's immediate political future in terms of primary wins?
Well, what we saw here in South Carolina, and you're correct, definitely thought this race was going to go down to the wire Saturday night. Had no idea that Speaker Gingrich was going to just win it by really a landslide in the state. And I think what he was able to do was tap into the anger of a lot of folks. And when I say that is two debate performances last week, Monday in Myrtle Beach and Thursday evening in Charleston, South Carolina, where he went after John King, the moderator, the first 5 minutes. And I think, a lot of folks saw that and saw him going after Mr. King in the national media as he'd done before. And they see that as what they're looking for in a candidate that's not afraid to take on, the media, but also feel that the national media is there protecting President Obama. So I think he was able to get into that emotion of those folks and come out with a huge win. And as they go on to Florida, I think it gives them steam.
Okay. Well, Mr. Parks, you're familiar with Mitt Romney's politics. So how does Mitt deal with this defeat? Does he see it as, hey, that's the South, it was predicted, they're still having questions about my authentic conservative credentials, but I can recover and head into Florida, even though I've been dealt this defeat, but I can come back?
Well, from my experience in Massachusetts and amongst Romney supporters, the feeling has always been, as long as we raise the money, we'll win. My contention and what I always had friction with people in Massachusetts, especially Romney supporters, is that you had to have a message. If you have a message, the money will come. Mm-hmm. Mitt Romney right now is having trouble articulating his message. He's all over the place, and that is not helping him. But what I think is really spiking Newt Gingrich right now is that a lot of Republicans are tired of the perception of the media choosing our candidates and kneecapping our candidates when they can. Look at what happened to Herman Cain. All of a sudden, all these women came out, and Herman Cain got taken out of the race. Where have these women been since? Haven't heard from them. Mission accomplished. Now, you got the January surprise. Marianne Gingrich, out of nowhere, has all these things to say about Newt Gingrich. Newt Gingrich asked first question by John King. This was an attempt to try to take him out. And Newt Gingrich fought back. And I think that's the reason why he polled very well amongst women, which was against the conventional media wisdom. Mm-hmm. They thought this was going to hurt him. But now he's doing well. I mean, look at Florida. The Florida polls right now, he's ahead because people wanted him to fight back, and they're also very tired of the media choosing our candidates for us.
Well, let's ask both of you distinguished gentlemen who also happen to be African American and Republican. What do you think about the race baiting that many have perceived to be present here with Newt's comments about poor people who are black and janitors and Obama's the food stamp president? You know, obviously you're going to always fight your ideological opponent, but the racialized aspect of it has taken some people aback. How do both of you respond to that? Do you think it's overplayed? Do you think it exists and you have to deal with it? What's your take?
That may be the perception of some folks, and I hate that because that definitely is not the intent. I think he's speaking fact when we talk. I mean, when I worked in high school, I worked cleaning the school. And there was nothing wrong with that. Also,
but I think people were talking about him. They were talking about him, you know, just relegating the poor people and the black people to both janitors and food stamps. I mean, he didn't say that.
I don't think so.
Okay.
The food stamp issue, it's a fact that there are more folks on food stamps today than there have been in any time of our nation. So I think he wants to, you know, he's talking about making it an environment where all people can succeed, regardless of race.
Okay, Mr. Parks.
I mentioned at work months ago that I believe that this next election is going to be a referendum on America. Mm-hmm. The Democrats are going to basically put out the argument that if Barack Obama is not elected, it's not because people disagreed with his policies. It's because America has now become a racist nation. Now, it's the media as well that has been pushing this point about the fact that when Newt Gingrich brings up this is a food stamp nation, they were the ones that said he must be talking about black people. I don't recall Newt Gingrich saying that the janitors were black. I don't remember him saying that all the people who are now on food stamps were black, but I recall people like Lawrence O'Donnell and other people in the media all coming to this conclusion.
Well, don't you
and
think,
putting those words in the mouth of our candidate.
But see, that's the brilliance of wolf whistle politics. And when it comes to race, we've seen this in the past. It's not like it's new. So the association of welfare queen, you know, these are catchwords that are buzzwords as well in terms of political rhetoric. Well, you have plausible deniability. You can do just what you're doing and say, oh, no, of course that's not it because we didn't say it. But the people who are meant to get the message that we're talking about black folk and we're talking about poor folk.
Wait a minute. Well, if that's the case, that perception or that sentiment that people are feeling, if you hear it that way, then either you want to hear it that way. It's like saying that all white people are racist except the ones you know. Okay, you can't apply that just because that's the way you feel that they must be talking about me.
Well, no, I think when most people see, first of all, it wasn't just the media. It was, you know, masses of black people polled, people who are responding, people on the street that talk to people and interviewed, and they're all saying, look, we get what's going on here. There's a kind of the same way that Bill Clinton did in South Carolina, playing wolf whistle racial politics. So it wasn't just on the right; it was on the left, on the conservative liberal side as well.
If the majority of people on food stamps in this country are white,
right,
then how can you turn around and say if anybody brings up food stamps, they must be talking about black people?
Because when Newt Gingrich has been speaking about black people and Rick Santorum has been speaking about black people, and we don't even want to deal with the Mormon religion's beliefs about black people until the 1970s and 80s. So we're talking about the history and tradition of black people in the Republican Party, their views about black people, what has historically happened. When you put all that stuff together, do you understand how people might be somehow believing that that's the case? I'm just asking you, do you understand how people might be able to associate that?
I can see.
All right. But you guys don't buy it?
No, I don't.
Okay. So what do you think in terms of the issue of Romney's tax returns? Do you think it's an important matter? Does it show that he's an out-of-touch, real rich guy who doesn't want to show what he's making? Or is it simply a matter of him trying to have strategic advantage? Mr. Parks and then Mr. McCall.
Well, this is something that he chooses to do at his peril or at his benefit. I think it's also glaring how, and again, and the reason why I keep on bringing up the media, I work for the Media Research Center, and that's what I center a lot of my attention on. We were told that, for example, Barack Obama is the smartest president ever. Okay, Valerie Jarrett just recently said that Barack Obama does not have to show his college transcripts because that's insulting. We already know how smart Barack Obama is. So I just find it, again, funny and hypocritical that we can say Mitt Romney has to show the American people his tax returns. The people have a right to know.
A lot of Republicans want to see him, too.
Sure. But at the same time, a lot of people wanted to see Barack Obama's college transcripts. They wanted to see just how smart he was. What's he hiding? Okay? And the media has not pushed that point. They have not scrutinized him. And a lot of people still to this day think that he hasn't been properly vetted. And we were just supposed to take him at his word.
But wait a minute. What we're going to do? If he made some C's as opposed to A's, what were we going to say?
Well, we were told George Bush was so stupid. He has an MBA from Harvard. You can't buy those.
Well, look, handicap for us, how you think the next few primaries are going to go, how Florida's going to turn out, and is Newt Gingrich going to really build up a head of steam, or is he, shooting his wad right now and it's pretty much done and Romney is the heir apparent?
I think he will take Florida. And I think the Florida folks and the Gingrich folks in Florida that push that state to keep winner take all, probably that was a bad move on their part, because they're supposed to have a proportional allocation of delegates because they moved their date up into January. So I think that's going to hurt them. I believe Governor Romney will win Nevada and some of the western states, but come Super Tuesday, I think Newt will probably take the majority of those states.
All right, Mr. Parks.
I think Newt Gingrich is on a roll, and I think he's going to take Florida and possibly a bunch of states after that.
All right. The Latino vote, we're in Florida. It's big. Is that going to help or hurt any one of these candidates, and who's going to do best with Latinos in Florida?
I think Newt Gingrich will do best. From talking to Latinos in North and South Carolina, they like him and what he's saying.
All right, Mr. Parks.
I say the same thing about Newt Gingrich. Right now, I think a lot of the Republican electorate are united in their anyone but Obama mode. So
the Gingrich who stole the Republican nomination, looks like so far. Glenn McCall is national committeeman for the South Carolina GOP and one of two blacks on the RNC. And Bob Parks is the creator of blackandright.com. Thank you both for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Coming up, job tips for the new year, new job seekers. That's next on the Michael Eric Dyson Show.